I never thought that I would live to be 86 years old.
Murray Ebner does not have any photos of his murdered parents or brothers.
That's me right there.
But he does have evidence of his time at the Auschwitz death camp.
I wanted to show the world that the Holocaust really happened.
His detail was to guard the German-Russian border.
Murray's son Mark showed us their Holocaust Survivors Museum on College Avenue in Bexley.
It's very, very important to know that people could be so inhuman.
Murray still has a scar on his arm where his number tattoo was removed in the 50s. Decades earlier, Murray and his family escaped the Nazis in Poland. Eventually, they were caught. Murray was separated from his family, all of whom died. But Murray survived several camps, including Auschwitz, and eventually escaped his German captors. Years later, he made it to America, where he found his cousins.
They should understand what happened here. They got to understand.
Murray shares his story to encourage future generations and prevent history from repeating itself, but says there is still much suffering in the world.
We've got a lot of work ahead of us.
Hi, Jeremy. It's Dad. I wish you was here.
Thomas Moore never wanted to believe what he already knew. His son was lost.
I don't know why you picked this route to go, but I guess there's a reason for it.
His 35-year-old son, Jeremy, was desperately hooked on heroin, and in March, that long addiction finally killed him.
I'm dedicating this whole thing, to him.
Moore says his son had just gotten out of rehab for the second time this year.
And I could tell that he was changing. I could tell his personality was getting worse and worse.
Just hours after coming home with his father, Jeremy overdosed in the bathroom.
A lot of people liked him. He had a lot of people at his funeral.
Moore had trouble figuring out what to do next. His only son and family was gone. Then,
you know what? That come to me like that.
Moore put these signs on his truck telling the world he lost his son to addiction, a warning to others. Moore says he prays his son's story can show how hurtful drug addiction can be.
I just hate to think that I'll never see you again. I love you, son.
With each slow and steady step, Kyle Sherman has climbed extraordinary heights back to health. This was the 26-year-old back in July after strangers pulled him from the bottom of a pool. He'd been underwater for at least 4 minutes.
If it wasn't for them, that man, and being trained in CPR, Kyle would not be alive today. He was dead when they pulled him out of the pool.
I don't really have any recollection of anything that happened. When I woke up, I couldn't move things until a couple days after where I started. I moved a thumb and a toe, and eventually I moved my foot.
Turns out it was a spinal injury that, with a lot of hard work, could be overcome. Sherman was determined.
He really surprised me from where he came from. When he was here, he started driving a wheelchair with his lips, and that's all he could really move effectively.
He spent 33 days at the Ohio Health Rehabilitation Hospital and was up walking within 3 weeks.
It was actually right behind you. I walked from that mat over to that treadmill and back, and that was it. And then I sat back down.
And through it all, he never gave up hope.
I wanted to walk, so I wanted to get up. You can't really give up in those situations, no matter how bleak it looks. It's better to have faith than not.
Faith that his therapist and mom never gave up either.
Good to see you. I'm good.
It's just been a miracle story every single day since then. He is a miracle man.
Yeah, it was good times. It was her idea. She's like, all right, we're going to try to run. And it was like...
Licking Heights School District voters will face the music as they'll be asked to approve a $26 million bond issue to build a new high school. The district is the third fastest growing in Central Ohio, and the superintendent says they're running out of space.
It would allow us to reorganize the entire district and provide relief.
Modular classrooms are being prepared to help with the crush this school year, but the district says it's not a long-term solution.
We want good schools. We want people, when they come to this area, to say, hey, I want to come to Licking Heights. They have great schools.
Double tight with the wing.
And while these Heights Hornets practice for the first game, a hornet's nest is being stirred up in the community. Signs, pro and con, are posted across the district. Val D'Alessandro is one of the vocal opponents who say many taxpayers can't afford an additional $99 per $100,000 of property valuation.
We want them to be more frugal, not just keep spending and spending.
But the district says it's been a good steward of the tax dollars and has been open about the process.
54% of this project would be paid for by the state of Ohio.
People run out of money. They're just, enough is enough.
Some opponents say the district is playing games and sneaking in a special election to get the bond issue passed. But the district says timing is everything, and if the voters say yes, they can have the building ready by fall 2017. In Licking County, Luann Stoya, Fox 28 News.
People stealing stuff, mainly. They even stole out of my own backyard, front yard.
Looking around the neighborhood she's called home for years, it's hard for Pat Akers to hide her frustration.
I want to take the control back. I want to be able to sit on my front porch and not feel like I got to have a gun.
That's why Akers is helping lead a movement to keep watch and take back the neighborhood.
We want our city back. We want to feel safe.
Debbie Thompson is part of the Citizen Police Academy Alumni Association, or CPAAA. It's a group of volunteers who work directly with the Marion Police Department.
We're the eyes for the police department, and we relay messages and call them and let them know what we see.
And it's a group police and the mayor says is helpful in finding crime and works with law enforcement to send a message.
If you're going to come to this community and you're not going to abide by the laws, and you're not going to be a productive citizen in Marion, Ohio, you're just simply not welcome here.
I think they found 3 needles over there.
Really?
On the ground, Akers and her husband help coordinate block watch meetings all around the city. Right now, there's only about 5 active watches, and Akers thinks she knows why.
They don't want to get involved for the retaliation of it. They're afraid somebody will break in on them because, hey, I might have snitched.
You're not scared.
So, no. Oh, no. Nope.
So they're hoping to inspire others to get involved.
We have to. It's our...
And jump! This family's Labor Day celebration normally would mean boating, swimming, and playing on the lake. Instead, these kids are finding fun on the land.
Hoop, jump rope, balloon toss, crab walk.
But hundreds of boats, including the Kellys, had to be pulled from the water so they wouldn't get stuck.
We just decided to have the party anyway. It's just not quite as pretty a view as what we're hoping for.
The Ohio Department of Natural Resources is working to drain the lake to relieve pressure on the 79-year-old earthen dam and to allow them to find the reason for the leak. The team is using siphon hoses to help lower the water levels.
Our concern is just simply to get at the root cause of what's going on in terms of the seepage and be able to make repairs.
Engineers don't think the dam is in danger of giving way, but experts say the Class 1 dam is considered high hazard.
We understand that they need to fix the situation, but we wish it could have waited till after the weekend.
The beach and picnic park are popular destinations, but now they're closed with dam repairs pending.
And I think everybody's pretty much figured out that our season's over and you might as well pack it in, but are we going to have a lake next year? That's the big question, I think.
While some of the summer has been shaved off because of the leak, this family is already wondering what's next for a getaway that is special to so many in Pike County.
Victoria, my name is student Dr. Scott Cook, and we're here to assist you with the labor and delivery process.
A high-tech simulator is giving birth to a lesson these Chillicothe medical residents will never forget.
Do you have any questions for me before we get started?
No. Her name is Victoria, a robot who speaks, blinks, and gives birth in all kinds of situations.
The baby's coming. The baby's coming. Okay, so we want to recheck her.
There's even a bedside computer to keep track of the heartbeat and contractions.
It helps obviously give them a lot of different scenarios. There's many scenarios we can run for labor and delivery, and we have essentially a whole mini hospital of simulators. So we get a lot of experience, a wide variety of experience before we even remotely deal with a patient.
Victoria also helps new doctors get rid of any first-time jitters. Students quickly make a connection between what's in the delivery room and what's in the medical textbook.
Really, to have a hands-on experience with a simulator like this really provides, for me, experiences I haven't had before. And so I can learn what's right and what's wrong on a simulator long before I ever have an actual patient.
Babies are slippery, just like in real life.
A high-tech helper that will help pregnant humans everywhere. Terry Sullivan, ABC 6 News.
And then, as the nurses here are working on this, we'll...
Spring may have sprung. On Spring Street, we found outdoor eaters, jubilant joggers.
Is it spring?
It's starting to be.
And the ceremonial unlayering of winter clothes. After the cold darkness of winter, it was finally a day to catch some rays, and for the lion of March's beginning to lay down with the lamb of March's end.
Can I lie down too for a sec?
Sure.
Thank you. Oh man, that feels awesome.
Feels great.
You know what's crazy? I'm getting paid for this.
That's a good deal.
Now, it wasn't that long ago that the Midwest was invaded by something called a polar vortex.
Do you know what a polar vortex is? Excuse me, sir?
It was an Arctic blast which froze everything in its path. But now the vortex has vanished. It's time to bid farewell to maybe the worst winter ever, and time to welcome some sun.
Hello! Spring!